What's up, everybody? It's your boy King David, back with another video, and we're gonna get right into this video. It's gonna be a little different than usual, but I'm feeling pretty good today. It's early in the morning. I would say it's about 5 in the morning, right before the sun, comes up. Basically, still slightly dark outside, but we're going to get into this video about just understanding that your energy is everything, right, guys? Now, on my channel, I talk a lot about conserving your life force energy. I talk about retention. It's the same thing, right, guys? I go into detail on some fitness things as well, which you should be taking in terms of supplements, basic workouts like calisthenics, things like that, guys. So I understand that with retention or conserving your life force energy, you're not the norm, right? So I want to get into this a little bit for you guys to understand what I mean by like you're not the norm. Your energy, your vibration is like a different level than the majority of people. And you start to get to a point where you just don't really I wouldn't say you don't care, because we all say that we don't care about what other people think. And you can get to a point where you just don't really care so much about what everybody else thinks. And that's true. I feel like I'm at kind of that point. The only time I care is if the person is intending to hurt me, right? That's the only time I'm gonna start to care, right? If they start to I used to think of things like this, right, guys? I know I change it up a little bit when I talk, but if they're not trying to hurt me or my family directly, and they're just talking, right? It really doesn't matter so much, right? What you give your energy to, right, guys, in life, whether that be somebody who's talking BS or somebody who's trying to instigate things, right, guys? Trying to just, ruffle your feathers is what they say, guys. If you give your energy into whatever it is, you're going to lose a lot of your energy. And the reason why is because you're fighting somebody who's not on the same consciousness. It's kind of like this, right? They don't understand you, so they want to call you out for something that they don't understand. Instead of trying to get to know why you do it, or to understand the reasons you do the things you do, they'll just judge. And some people are even so caught up into judgment that even if it becomes a known fact, a known thing that everybody does now, say if it were let me give you an example. Say if it were conserving your life force energy, right, guys? If all not all men, but a majority of men started to just conserve their life force energy, guys, there are always going to be those guys out there who are not going to do it. And they'll even judge you for being kind of like radical, right? You're changing yourself, and other men are doing the practice. They're noticing benefits, but they're still going to point the finger and say, no, science says this, or no, you're wrong, I'm right, right? Because it's their perspective that they have, guys. A lot of people aren't able to just, I want to say live and let live, right? That's a great saying. Live and let live. It's true. As long as it's not like damaging you or the people around you, or you're doing something that really is affecting many, right? So be it. So be it. It is what it is, right? When you conserve your energy, guys, like when you stop releasing, there's so many truths that are opened up to your eyes. There's so many things that we don't see in the beginning that you start to like understand later in life. And some people you're not going to be able to, it's not even convincing. Like when you tell people, especially in the beginning with retention, and you tell people about your journey, because it's exciting, right? It's exciting in the beginning. You want to tell people, hey, you do, but you don't, right? It's kind of weird. We only make it weird, right? Like in school, we talked about like what, sex ed, right? So it's like you literally were having conversation with your like classmates and your teacher about sex ed, right? But they don't teach you about retention in sex ed, right? So really talking to somebody in person, as long as you're not like weird about it or something, if you're a mature enough human being to like have a conversation about why you shouldn't release and why you should release, or even just having some sexual discipline and not doing these things, right? They're not going to understand it, right? They think they know enough already, but they're not really like, they're not willing to dive deeper into certain things, right, guys? Which is understandable. Like if they don't want to like talk about retaining or something, that's fine. But I'm saying like in the beginning, when you start to get all this energy and they start to ask you like, you were like sleeping on the couch. Well, not technically sleeping on the couch, but just like falling asleep on the couch, right? You used to be falling asleep on the couch. You couldn't make it to your bed, so you would just fall asleep on the couch. Or you used to be just like this lazy individual, right? You might be not necessarily lazy, but you weren't as structured, right? You weren't outside at like this time in the morning, especially in the beginning, guys. Like I said, going for a run. Like by the time you get back to the house, like it'll be like 6:30, and your family or whoever you're living with is like, dude, where have you been? Like I'm just waking up and you just completed like a 6-mile, 7-mile run. They're looking at you kind of like strange a little bit. They're like, whoa, where's all this newfound energy, right? How did you wake up at 5 a.m, run 7 miles or something like that, guys? This is what I'm saying. Like I'm putting an example for you. You ran this distance, you came back, you did your job, like you worked. After work, you still have energy. Maybe you're not even watching TV like how you normally did after work. You have a book in your hand and you're like eating an apple in your room or something, right? You change your dynamic. Like you change, like I always talk about like your dynamic, right? Dynamic with people. You change your dynamic with the people that you know. Now they think it's not going to last, right? They think it's not going to last. You're going to be like this for a little while and it's going to pass away, or they get kind of like weirded out by it. They're like, you're different now, you know? But you're not so far different to the point where they're like, you're just a different individual. Like, you do things a much different like way. Like, you're in the beginning stages, right? That's why I'm saying, like, the longer you retain, the further you get away from people in that aspect, right? Because you realize when you talk to certain people, they assume that they know what they're talking about, which is like how I was too. And it really just comes down to like people just not having an open mind to certain things, right? And the reason why that is because if we don't do the research ourselves a lot of the time, or we never are going to plan on doing the research ourselves, we don't really believe word of mouth. It used to be kind of something, it used to be kind of something that a lot of people would go by because there was no internet, right? There wasn't like something you could just look up or something, right? We were more attentive. Like, think about it before the internet, right? Say if you were working on a farm, like, let's put it in an example again. If you're working on the farm, as you and your dad, right? Working on the farm, your dad's been retaining, but he's an older guy. Like, he's always kind of been retaining. You're younger. Actually, that's kind of like, hold on. That example might work, but I think that I have a better one here, guys. Let's say you know a friend, right? This is before the internet. And you guys are working on a project on a farm, right? You're moving hay barrels or something, and you got to do it for like the next couple weeks or maybe a month or something. I mean, this is like a lot, obviously, right? But you're working together. Your friend starts to retain. You don't retain. You both are working on these hay barrels. All of a sudden, one day, it's like 2 weeks into you guys working. You're just like looking at your friend and you're wondering how he's not groggy and stuff in the morning, right? He's not groggy. He's up. He's attentive. He's moving hay barrels like with ease. You're kind of like struggling still. You've been releasing, right? And so you ask the guy, you ask your friend, why are you like able to move these? We're about the same weight. Why are you able to move them easier than I, right? And like you guys are about equal in strength. Like, it's not like something too vast of a difference, right? That's when you know that retention, like if he brings that up, because some guys are not, some guys aren't going to bring those things up. I feel like in the past it was more like acceptable to bring it up in public, but now if you bring something like that up in public, they think you're just weird or something, right? When really it's kind of a normal conversation. It's not something you want to start your conversations with or like talk about with everybody. It's only the people who are really like generally interested in why you're stronger. And if he starts to talk about it, you might feel a little bit weirded about it, or you might feel like, wow, okay, I never thought of it that way, right? Yeah, basically that, right, guys? So conserving your energy, right, guys? I normally talk about it because I'm in the process of being able to retain long term, right? And when I mean long term, guys, I'm talking about like I'm talking about you basically you retain long enough. Let me move this a little bit closer here. You retain long enough to where you find a partner, right? Like that's the goal. Retain long enough to find a partner. That's what most men are going to do retention for. And it makes a lot of sense because there's certain changes that are going to happen where you're just going to draw in a potential partner, right? And if you're not going to have a partner in your life, you're going to have a lot of vitality, which is a good thing. That's what you're going for, right, guys? To break free from the lust, to break free from the content, to break free from needing a woman. I mean, you always will need a woman, but I'm just saying, like, you're not in, like, a desperate need, right? Like, a lot of guys are. They're thirsty is what they say, right? Men are thirsty. Women can be the same way. There's so many aspects to this journey, and when you see it in such different light, it's like, whoa, it's trippy. It's trippy, guys. Sorry, I got to take a little bit of a break in between to think a little bit here, guys. I don't really like to put my days out there, guys. Like, I noticed the less you think about it, like where your energy, where your attraction goes, I mean, or your intention goes, right? Your energy flows, right, guys? So, putting your energy into whatever you're doing is what you're going to get back in return. If you think about retention, right? Like the only time I think about retention is when I'm making these videos. And I'm not technically like thinking about it. The only time you really should be thinking about like conserving your life force energy is if you feel the life force moving in you, right? There's been times I've been on retention and I've gone months without watching any content, and I haven't even thought of anything like that, right? I haven't even thought about conserving my energy. It was just normal to me to move through life like that. I've noticed a big thing, right, guys? This is the biggest thing with retention, and I think a lot of guys don't understand it, is that your mindset changes. There's a shift in how you think and how you talk to women. It's a big shift, guys. It's something that is like major. And what happens is simple. You start to just talk to women, but you're not interested in like how could I put it right? It's like, you're going to like this one, guys. Look, when you're talking to a woman, right? And you're just talking to her like, you think you're talking to her just regular. There's always like a sexual undertone, right? Not always, but like depending on who you're talking to, right? But for women that you're attracted to, right? I'm saying like women that you're gonna be like, okay, yeah, I like her. There's a sexual undertone. There's something in your eyes that shows them that you're like generally interested, or something in your eyes that says like, hey, I'm trying to like get with you. I'm trying to sleep with you, right? When you talk, like that comes out, right? Subconsciously it comes out. Like every word you're saying, it's like, I want to go to this place with you and do some things with you, right? That's basically all you're saying to her. Like she's not understanding like she understands what you're saying, but she's just like, that's what you want. I know what you want, and I can feel that energy that's coming off of you, guys. Like I said about it, is like the lust, right? That energy that comes off of you guys is very lustful. It's a very lustful energy, And you'll notice, like, there's things, this is the craziest part about retention. You'll notice the longer you go, like certain days, some people will be talking, right? And they'll say something, and your dirty mind, you know what I'm talking about, right? You have your mind's in the gutter is what they say, right? You have a gutter mind. People are talking, and you're thinking about some nasty stuff, right? Not too nasty, but you're just like, they'll say something in the lines of a context that you're like, oh, yeah, you start thinking of like some kind of like, you get what I'm saying. You get what I'm saying, right, guys? You like, but that, like, that dissolves, guys. You don't think like that no more. Eventually, you kind of like, it just like, it fizzles out. And the only way it does is if you go the distance. Like, you'll realize how dirty your mind is. Your mind is filthy. You're thinking about some weird stuff a lot of the times. And if you're talking to a woman and you're thinking about weird things, she's gonna pick up on that, guys. Like, that's the thing. Like, this is like the real truth. This is the raw videos that you guys need to hear. That dirty mind, nah, brother, nah, it doesn't work. I think the reason why the majority of men that get like a lot of play with women is because they don't really have that dirty mind. Like, they might joke around a little bit, but depending on how dirty their mind is, right? Some guys are more, other guys are not at all, really. You know, that's rare, but let's be honest, right? If your mind is like pretty clear on that level, you're not thinking about nothing nasty because you're not watching nothing nasty, right? You're not watching anything behind closed doors and hearing these actors and actresses' voices. Get what I'm saying, guys? So if you're not watching the content, you're already going to have a less dirty of a mind. Now, if you're not, releasing and you're not like imagining things or fantasizing is what they say, right? You're going to have an even less dirty of a mind. It's subtle, right? You see how it gets more subtle? So when you talk to a girl or a woman, right? What you talk about and how you talk to her is totally different. Totally different. Like, what you're saying doesn't come off as lustful because it isn't. It's not a lustful, like, I want to get with you kind of like talk, right? It's more general interest in what the conversation is about. A lot of times you can actually stay more attentive, even if she's a very beautiful woman. You can stay attentive. Your eyes are right here. They're not at her, you get what I'm saying. You're really like, you're talking to her in kind of like a one-on-one, like you just have better mannerism a lot of the times too. Like, you're like, oh, I'd like to talk more about what we were talking about. How about we go outside and we actually have a conversation? There's too much noise in this building, right? Like, those kind of things become easy for you to say. And it's not like you're trying to just get her outside and like talk to her about a bunch of nonsense. Like, you're really trying to talk to her about the conversation. You can pick up on subtle cues too when she's not generally interested or she's trying to go or leave or do something else. If she's really generally interested in you, she'll just keep talking to you and trying to get to know you or understand you, right? I've seen this so many times when I'm on retention, guys. Like, it's so crazy. You just like, they say like the magnetism, they say the pull that you have towards women, right? You pull them in further. But it depends on who you are, right? There's people who retain that aren't really the best people. Like, they have a lot of work that they have to do first. That's the reason why they're not getting women or nothing, because they're already like kind of like a bad, like not necessarily bad person, but they're like, there's somebody who really is ain't so smooth around the ladies, right? They just ain't smooth yet. Like, a lot of guys on these nofap communities and retention stuff, is like they need to work on, just common mannerism with women, right? And just elicacy, or I think that's what it's called. But yeah, just having like the good dynamic between them, not overstepping boundaries and things, right, guys? And having boundaries for yourself too, having standards for yourself. Same with the woman too, right, guys? Like, there's so much more to it than that. Like, don't just, okay, she's beautiful, I'm just gonna like do my thing, even though I've been retaining her however long. You lose your energy that way. It's so easy. So easy to lose it all. For somebody who really is you get what I'm saying, guys. You get what I'm saying. I don't need to go deeper into some of these things, but yeah, guys, you got to understand that retention is there's so many different levels, and purifying your mind, purifying your soul, really purifying your soul, right, guys? If you want to get deeper into it, it takes time, and it takes a lot of effort. You have to stay vigilant. The longer you go, the more people are gonna just find you a bit strange, a bit like out there a little bit, right? Because when you say something, it doesn't have that undertone of lust, right? That undertone, you get what I'm saying, guys? Like, that undertone of lust, especially if you've been watching content for a long time, guys, is strong. So you basically like, you're not as smooth, my brother. You're not as smooth. Anyways, guys, I don't know. I heard something in the background, but I don't think it's nothing. Yeah, remember to stay focused, stay on your journeys, guys. Like I always say, don't stress about getting further into your journeys. Eventually, like when you get to a certain point, you begin to conserve your life force energy. Like, this is kind of like what I want to get at on this video. And you don't really think about it. You don't think about it. That's the goal, right? Is to retain, but don't think about the days or the benefits or the superficial benefits. Don't think about none of it. Just retain, guys. Just retain. Just keep going the days until you run into a woman that you desire or want, right? Because if you desire her, you're gonna actually like hook up with her. You guys have a stronger connection, but you get what I'm saying, guys. Like, depending on the person, but yeah, just retain, guys. Like, retain. The longer you retain, the more healed you become, the easier it's going to be for you to match with the person you are meant to. There's going to be some women along the way that are going to be attracted to you, but you have to have discernment, guys. You have to know if she's really like for you or not, because like you're going to have a lot of energy and they're going to be really attracted to you, but that doesn't mean she's the one for you, right, guys? Like, make sure you stay focused. Stay focused on the interactions, right? Try not to be overtaken by her beauty. Try to be more in the conversation and understanding what she's really trying to say to you. Like, is she like generally attentive? Does she bring up conversations that you had before in the past and try to like understand them in a different light, or even continue that very same conversation, right, guys? Like, it gets deep. Those are the things that you're looking for. Like, you're looking for somebody who's going to keep the ball rolling, right? Because a lot of women, they know, like, once you, well, I'm not sure if they do know or not. Some women are not as intuitive, but the ones that do know, they know as soon as you release, the attraction is it's not there as much, guys. Like, as soon as you're like with a female that you really like, the attraction is not like Yas would say, like, it kind of goes downhill. It's like, that is truth, you know, there is truth to it, but not always. But yeah, I mean, you got to understand, like, the dynamic's going to change after you guys have hooked up, right? Like, you're not going to be saying the same things to her as when you were not with her in that sort of way. You get what I'm saying, guys? Dynamics change, boundaries change. You get what I'm saying, guys? Like, you've lost some of your energy if you've released. Now, if you didn't release and you're with her, you got to be careful there too, guys. She might become, you know, really attached. So I don't like to tell too much of that, because it's like, some guys will go out there and they'll do that on purpose. Always remember what you do now, and like what you do to somebody, and if it's not authentic and you're playing games with somebody, guys, because you have a lot of energy and you're trying to just attract women, God knows. So you're not going to get away with that. It's actually going to come back to bite you in the butt. So just remember that, guys. Like, retention and your spiritual journey and stuff is serious. Like, you're going to take the bullets. You're going to take a bigger, the dog's going to take a bigger chunk out of your butt for doing something that you're not supposed to be doing. It's not going to be a little chihuahua bite. It's going to be a Rottweiler on your butt. You get what I'm saying, guys? Anyways, I try to make a little bit of joke at the end. Just remember, have a blessed day. Leave a comment if you like. Peace out, guys.